The CFL is reportedly going to implement NFL-style injury reports for the 2021 season, meaning teams will have to disclose the nature of each injury, whether or not players practice that week, and the likelihood that they'll dress for an upcoming game. Is this a good thing for the CFL?
It is, man, and it's about time. And people have talked about this for CFL fantasy leagues, around the country and even into the United States as well. That they'll start somebody in their lineup, and because of the depth chart schemery, let's say, that goes on between some of these teams, they think a player's starting, they're in their lineup, and then all of a sudden they get a zero. So for the CFL to be able to grow, obviously, especially single game sports betting in Canada, and leverage those relationships in revenue for the Canadian Football League, and also grow the popularity of CFL fantasy football, that you have to have this, right? If you go to your lineup, you got to be confident that whatever player you're putting in is actually going to play in that football game. And the same thing for betting. When you're putting down money, you need to know all of the information possible. There can't be any of what goes on now. And it's really only a few teams. I'll give Craig Dickinson credit. During Riders Camp, he's been upfront about the injuries, come out
Very
and
much
talked
so.
about them when he knows that. Exactly. So we need to see that league wide. I'm not saying that other coaches haven't done it, but the Riders have obviously had a rash of injuries with the Achilles that they suffered, plus some other ones. But in comparison, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have Andrew Harris leave a practice and they say it's for an appointment. We know that's bogus. So no more of
Completely.
that. And to be quite honest, Hodge, I hope it's enforced by the league in terms of discipline, fines, whatever it needs to be, because it's only going to benefit the CFL's pockets in the long run.
Absolutely. Yes, and it's happened before, right? It's even happened like I don't know if a lot of people know this, but TSN gets different depth charts than the rest of the media gets. And that is because some of the depth chart shenanigans that go on, TSN wants the real depth chart, but we've even seen instances where guys are introduced by TSN in the secondary, wherever else, and they never start in the game. The game, it's a completely different player, and it's obviously a ploy by one team to try to pull the wool over the eyes of their opponent. And I don't necessarily blame the teams for doing it, because if everybody's doing it, well, what's the incentive to stop? It's like, well, we're not going to be honest and straight up, because guess what? This other team's not going to be honest and straight up. So I think it's wonderful that the league is getting it all squared away, because as you said, Dunkster, if you want people to play fantasy in this league, if you want people to bet on this league, they have to know days in advance who's actually playing in the games. And I'm the first person to defend the CFL in a lot of regards, but it's Bush League, when you can't even just have a coach come out and just be honest about the nature of an injury. I'm not asking him to tell me that it was the left phalange, clavicle, whatever, but just say, hey, it's an ankle. He's going to miss 2 weeks. Done. That's all I need to know. Thank you. Moving on.
Or even upper or lower body. That's an easy way to take, I think, in
I'm
my
not
mind.
a
Now,
personally, I'm not a huge fan of upper and lower, but I'll take it over an appointment.